Okay, this isn't really a comedy special, but if people call a comedy special, a stand-up special, then I'm calling this a stand-up special. Fuck it, because it really doesn't matter, right? Honestly, it doesn't matter at all. You can call whatever you want, whatever the fuck you want anymore. That just is what it is. If you don't like it, kiss my ass. I really don't give a shit. And oh, this isn't a comedy special. There's supposed to be a live audience. Well, guess what? Norm Macdonald did one this way too. So if his doesn't count, if his counts, so does mine. I don't give a shit about going over and messing up words or whatever because that's not what this is about. Now, people always say times are getting worse. They aren't getting worse. Fuck that. They aren't. Because human nature is the same as it's been this whole time. So this is worse. People do worse things. No, if people had the ability to do the things on the level that they do nowadays, 100 years ago they would have been doing it. It's not like there's more people interested in this, more people interested in that. That's not the case. You can lie to yourselves all you want. And why do I call this a special? Because I'm just going to go for as long as I can, and when I'm done, I'm done. So, if you don't like it, I'm lied to you, I guess, calling this a comedy special, but at the same time, people lie to you all the time saying that they're stand-up comedians when they aren't. When they're just using it as a form of therapy. And to me, this isn't necessarily a form of therapy. This is just a way of calling shit out. So, if you don't like it, that's fine. That's all there really is to it. Let's move on to celebrity worship right away, okay? So, celebrity worship, celebrities are deities. That's just what they are. That's how we treat them, especially here in America. That's how we've been treating them for decades. There's magazines dedicated to them. YouTube's pretty much dedicated to them alone, okay? You know, it's dedicated to other things too, but it's mainly celebrities and talking about celebrities and saying that you're a journalist when you aren't a journalist, when you haven't done any journalism whatsoever, when you've just done research online, saw this from a video and then parrot it back. So, let's just be honest about what it is, okay? Be honest about what you do and stop the bullshit. Now, people worship celebrities to the point of changing their diet, changing to a different form of spirituality, changing what political side they're on, changing everything or anything to match up with a celebrity's beliefs. Period. I'm 40 years old. I saw the 80s, I've seen the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now, and it's never changed. People can say whatever they want, but they always follow what the celebrity that they want to be like does. It's the same thing with influencers, and I hate that fucking term. I'm not trying to be one. If you ever call me one, I'm just going to say I'm not. I'm some dude that sees things through a psychological lens. I haven't went to school for psychology, but I look at the psychology of things and people. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the rest of this fucking bullshit. Period. Because that's what it is. You can say whatever it is. I do things on here as a test. And because I don't see them done quite the way that I do them. That's the reason I do them the way I do. And with celebrity worship and celebrities in general, that's not what they do. They do what's expected to them, and then they toe whatever line that they're supposed to keep them going forward. Actors, in particularly, nobody likes actors. There's a famous quote, and I hate quotes, but by Alfred Hitchcock that says, the worst thing about making a movie is actors. I've met plenty of people that are actors, and I can't stand them either. The only actors that I like and can stand that I've known personally started as musicians and didn't start as actors. You know, Robert Shannon, for example. Seven. Great dude. Like him a lot. Haven't seen him in years. Jimmy Doom, another one. That's what I know him as. I forget what his real last name is. He was in... Oh, fuck, what is it? Kill the Irishman, right? Yeah. The one about the Irish guy that was kind of a gang leader that was in bed with the mob and all that shit. He was in that. Good dude. I like the dude a lot, to be honest with you. But I don't worship either one of them. But if I were going to worship somebody or something like that, which I don't worship anybody. I see no fucking reason to do it. I see it as a waste of fucking time. it would be somebody like that, somebody that I know, somebody that I can talk to, somebody of that nature. All right? So, you can lie to yourselves all you want and say, well, I worship nothing, this, that, or the other thing. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're worshiping somebody or something. There's so many people that worship P. Diddy until recently. There's people that, and let's just get this out of the way. Celebrities aren't good people. They've never been good people. The thing is, the more you're known, the more power you have, the more likely you are to be corrupt as time goes, even if it didn't start that way. Yeah, there are sayings that say that and prove that and everything else, but it's still true. And you can try to paint it however the fuck you want, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I don't know anybody that's got a bunch of money and power that has stayed a good person. I let people flat out know, you don't want me in charge of shit. Period. You do not want me in charge of anything because I know I would be bad fast. Because we all have things that we don't like. We all have things that we stand for. And we all have things that we see differently than other people. And we'd like to say that we would not impose those things, but they get imposed all the time. Whether it's government or just somebody rich and powerful, or not even rich, just powerful and feared. So you can say, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. Well, if you ever get the opportunity, prove it. Prove me wrong. Prove history wrong. You can't? Then fuck off. Alright? It's just that easy. Oh, immorality. Everyone's like, well, you're going to be more moral. Like, it's a less moral time now than it was in the 80s. Less moral time than it was in the 70s. No, it's not. People's morals are the same. Their outlook on life is the same. Their wants, their desires are the same. So, you're telling me human nature has changed so much in 30, 40, 50, 100 years that the morality has completely changed across the whole goddamn planet. It hasn't, and if you say it has, you're lying to yourself. Just look at it. Look at it from a point of human nature, human desire. And once you do that, you have no choice but to come to the conclusion, at least from what I've seen, that this is the case. You think people are violent now? People were violent way back in the day. They just didn't have guns and the access to them as easily. It was harder to kill people. People have always been killing for sport, whether it's animals or people. So, oh, times are worse, blah, 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 bullshit. Oh, people are more easily led. No, kids are always easily led. And whatever you lead a kid to growing up, guess what? They're going to hold on to probably the rest of their lives. Some of them will break free of it, but most won't. They see that mindset, they see that mentality, and they get stuck in it because they think that's the way the world works and that's the way the world has to be. And honestly, if you look at humanity in general, what it is just a bunch of people that are 15-year-olds but all grown up. Whatever you like back then, you like now. There's people that are listening to the same exact song, looking at it in the same exact way 70 years after it came out, 50 years after it came out. You know that this is true. People are still listening to what they were when they were kids. They're still watching what they were watching when they were kids. They still find the same things funny as they did when they were kids. So, if that's the case, logically speaking, we're all big 15-year-olds. Yeah, we gain knowledge and everything else, but that mentality and all that stays. Some of us break free of it, a lot of us don't. Alright, let's see. Oh, and like I said, celebrities and all that, not good people, giving too much power, too much money, all that shit. It always goes wrong, right? Always. There might be a few occasions where it doesn't, but they're outliers. They aren't the rule, they're the exception. Right? So, you can separate the art from the artist because there's a lot of actors out there that are just complete and utter pieces of shit. It's known that they're pieces of shit. It's been known that they've been pieces of shit. and that's all there is to it. But their roles in movies and all that, their acting and all that is good. So I can separate one from the other, but you have to look at it this way too. These people are so fucking horrible that they have to know how to act so that they don't get caught doing stuff, so people can look past things, all that shit. So a really good actor usually means that they aren't a good person because they've had to cover up shit their whole lives. So if you look at it that way, it kind of all makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're just a good person, everyone around you likes you, and you have nothing to cover up, then you have no reason to act or cover anything up, so you aren't going to be a good actor. Flatly. Because you never had to. You can just be yourself, and that's enough. With actors, they feel like they have to be someone else. And you can say whatever, and if you're an actor or actress and you think I'm wrong, go ahead. Leave a comment. I actually appreciate it, because that's going to push this video out more to more people. And here's something I've said for a long time. If you don't like something, if you're against something, guess what you don't do? You don't leave a comment. You don't spread word about it to everybody or anything else, because the louder you are about it, unless you're strategic about it, it's just getting word out about it more. Now, either way, it's publicity, okay? And publicity doesn't really damage anything overall, because the people are going to believe or not. Look at Taco Bell. People have been saying for years that Taco Bell's meat is basically sawdust, and nobody gives a shit. Taco Bell's still open. People still go there in droves, drunk or sober. So the facts really don't fucking matter, okay? You can smack somebody in the face with it, and it's not going to change what happens or their habits. Not on a big enough scale. When's the last time a boycott shut down any business? On a national scale. I'll wait. Alright. So, let's just get right to this. All art forms, over time, just become political speeches. Basically. Or ideological things. Let's take stand-up comedy, for example. Bill Hicks was not a comedian. Period. I don't care what anyone says. He was not a comedian. He was a political speaker. Now, not that dumb-ass piece of shit fake comedy special was not stand-up. Period. George Carlin was not a stand-up comedian. He was a public speaker, an advocate. That's it. He was not a stand-up comedian. I don't care what you say. It's the truth. When everyone's like, oh, look at his political views, this, that, or never look at this joke. Look at this great one-liner. Look at that. No. He wasn't a comic. So you can say what you will, but it always breaks down to that. That's what music is too. A lot of times now it is not anything of any kind of merit. It's just, hey, you're on alone, and that's great. That is fine. But a lot of times it's cut so much now to where this is my side, fuck your side, this is where I stand, fuck where anyone else does, and I have nothing to offer society. Boom. And I'm just talking about the mainstream stuff, okay? I'm not talking about the underground stuff, the stuff that isn't meant to be for everybody, that isn't trying to reach everybody, that isn't trying to do all that stupid ass bullshit, alright? Man. And while we're at it, let's get into that era argument. Well, it's this era, and that era, this era versus that era. That is not an argument you can make, really, because let's put it this way. Things are good or bad. Oh, that was good for that era. Well, does it hold up now? Is it good now? Can anyone say it's good now? No? Then it's not good. It doesn't matter that it was good in the 1920s. It doesn't matter that it was good in the 1980s. We're in the 2020s. Is it good now? No? People only thought it was good because they didn't have any other option? Okay. Yeah. Just like baseball. Baseball was America's pastime. It's no longer America's pastime. You want to know why it's no longer America's pastime? Because it's boring as shit. It's always been boring as shit. It's never not going to be boring as shit. People care about one baseball player, and that's it. The Japanese guy that's paid more than anybody. That's it. So you can say whatever you want, but the truth is the truth, and that's never going to change.